Meany is the actor who plays Miles Edward O'Brien. And this is actually the first episode where we get his full name.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Miles Edward O'Brien. Of course, we'll see lots of Chief O'Brien in Deep Space Nine, but yes, this I love Cole Meany too, Brian. I think he's a great actor who is so charming. Always kept his natural accent and was just like, this is it. This is my accent. Deal with it. And kind of like Michael Rooker, like everything Michael Rooker's been in. Talk like this. I'm your daddy. Like that's how he talks, and he never changes it. And Cole Meany's kind of the same way.
Right.
Cole Meany was on that AMC show with Anson Mount, and I'm the name is escaping me right now, and I watched it, and he plays
something
villain.
to do with some sort of train.
Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels. I was like, it was something.
Yeah, it's Anson Mount, Common, and Cole Meany, and Cole Meany plays the villain in that series. And I'm telling you, he is fantastic in that.
I did not know that he was in that. Oh man,
me either.
And
he would have made, in my opinion, and he still could make a great Lex Luthor.
Ooh.
And we're not talking about.
Oh, that's an interesting. That's an interesting choice. I would have never thought of Cole Meany. I haven't seen him in a lot of villainous roles, though. I have to check out Hell on Wheels, though, because I had no idea he was in that. And of course, Anson Mount, another Star Trek reference, he plays Captain Pike in Discovery series.
That's true. Yeah,
he plays Christopher Pike.
Joined in the second season.
Mm-hmm. He's great. Anson Mount is a great Captain Pike. I really like him in that role.
He's phenomenal in Hell on Wheels as well, which is crazy because there's the Star Trek connections there as well. That with Cole Meany being on that series.
Oh, that's wild! I'm gonna have to check that show. I had no idea he was on that.
You'll really like it. I think it went 3 or 4 seasons. It's really good.
Cool.
All right. So, back to the transporter room. We have O'Brien there. Worf comes in. He's annoyed, to say the least, I guess. I mean, about as much as a Klingon can show annoyance without, just taking somebody's head off or something. And we find out that his mother's always late, and he's wondering why they're still not there, and they show up. So we get his parents, and we know his parents are from Earth, and they're Russian. Well, I guess by this time it wasn't Russia anymore, even during anyway, they're from Belarus, I believe.
You are really trying to complicate that more than it should be. You should just go with Russia.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. I was just like thinking about it.
We are not going to go with the geography in the year 66.
Sorry. But so what do you all think? What did you all think about his parents? Like the first time he saw them? Yeah.
I love them. I think they're fantastic. It's one of those things where what was cracking me up is like a lot of people would love to have their parents fuss over them the way they're doing, and he's just embarrassed, So I thought that this was fantastic.
I thought he seemed like, like a early, like a teen or maybe like a tween kind of kid, like where they're like, just drop me off a block away from school, okay? Because he just doesn't want his mom being like, bye honey, I left you a note in your lunchbox,
That is absolutely, you nailed it right on the head, exactly what this is. It's almost like, when the kids go into college and mom and dad are coming to visit, and you're just like, oh, don't embarrass me, and all that. But both of the actors here who play his parents, Theodore Bickle plays his father, Sergei Rushenko. Actually, he plays Chief Petty Officer Sergei Rushenko, retired. and Georgia Brown plays his mom, Helena Roshenko. Both incredibly active character actors, have careers going back way into the 60s and 70s. And so if you look at their IMDb pages, they were in everything. They were in Knight Rider. They were in Dynasty. They were in Murder, She Wrote. They were in, they were, the guest of the week on every show. They were making those rounds. And, two great character actors here playing a really sweet couple. And I love this insight into Worf's upbringing. I love the idea of, his mother having to learn how to make Rokeg blood pie, which, just sounds so tasty. Why wouldn't you want to eat that? Having to learn to make it for him, and by the end of the episode, him basically asking her, like, can you send me some of your homemade Rokeg blood pie? Like, that's what he's craving that from home, mom's cooking. I love his parents. I love the actors who play them, and I love I love the interaction between Dad and Chief O'Brien, because Chief O'Brien's also a chief petty officer, and I love it.
I also really enjoy his parents because the juxtaposition between how human and friendly and lively his parents are to his very stoic Klingon is just a really great thing to see. But they do such a good job because they could go over the top really easily on this, and I feel like they don't go completely over the top and just and make it sort of a farce of these doting parents.
They could have turned them into the parents from like the Transformers movies,
easily, very easily could have gone that way.
And they pulled back on that, which was great.
Yeah, and that just shows, not only good directing, but also them as actors being able to rein it in enough to be interesting and to be completely different from their son, but not outlandish.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that they're the perfect choices to play these characters, and again, just really great direction from Les Landau here on letting the characters be just enough human and just enough of a doting parent sort of trope without going too far.
Mm-hmm. The next scene, we see Picard on Earth walking down a dirt road heading up to Chateau Picard, and for everybody out there, a little behind the scenes, in my notes that I sent to everyone, I wrote Chateau Picard as many times as I could because I like saying that. But, he hears some rustling in the trees, and he's like, who goes there, kind of thing, and it's his nephew, Renee, who he's never met because he's been gone for 20 years, and Renee is, I don't know, what do you say, like 12, maybe?
I would say tops he's 12.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry that I can't tell children's ages. But yeah, so, he's like 10 or 12, and he has a little banter with Renee, like, asking him if he's a highwayman, which he doesn't have any idea what that is, and, but then he calls Picard his nephew, and that's amusing, and then he takes him up to the house, and we meet his mother, Marie, which is Picard's sister-in-law he's also never met. Like, I don't know if I would be as comfortable as he was meeting these people he'd never met that were part of his family for so long. It would just be awkward, I think.
They had correspondence, though.
Oh, good point. Yes, I didn't think about that. She did correspond with him for a long time, is what he said. So,
yeah, you are right though. Like, I mean, basically, he's been gone for 20 years. His brother has, in that time, married, had a kid who's now old enough to be, like, at the age that he like knows what he wants to do with his life. Mm-hmm. He's got a whole life here that Jean-Luc does not know anything about. So just a little note on the actor who plays his nephew, Renee. In 2 years from this episode, He would show up again in the episode Rascals, which is an episode where several members of the Enterprise crew, through a transporter accident, which happens more often than you would like, get reverted to younger versions of themselves. And he plays a young Jean-Luc Picard in that episode.
Wow.
Yeah, they brought him back to play a young Jean-Luc Picard.
That's pretty good. I have to say, I love how they're supposed to be French. Well, you know, and through the whole series, Picard is very, very English. Like, Earl Grey tea, Shakespeare, tally-ho. You know, and he's supposed to be French.
In TV, everybody that's European is British. Like,
well, and of course, you know, we had talked about how he had a terrible French accent or whatever. Still, the other people could have had French accents if they wanted, but I guess maybe that would have been weird. But, you know, if he was that long away from family, maybe he would have lost it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, they throw in some French things in this episode, you know, while he's in France, and that's pretty great.
Well, like, Worf didn't speak with any type of Russian accent.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I don't know. This show just plays by its own set of rules.
Oh, it's true. It kind of does.
I do what I want. I'm next generation. I do what I want.
And then I'm laughing. So yeah, Picard talks to Marie a bit, and she says that his brother Robert is in the fields, you know, in the vineyard, tending his grapes as always. And so this is where we see Robert, and he's, you know, kind of distant towards Picard. So, you know, we know that there's something up, and we don't know what's going to happen while he's here, but, you know, we're all in for the ride to know what's going to happen. But I don't know if anything about this actor that plays his brother.
Oh, I do know a bit about this actor. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, he like has like the most sour face like this whole episode, and it's like, is he always like that?
Yeah.
Or is this just part of his acting because he's just, you know, a mean old coot?
This guy was like typecast as Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Like,
that's exactly what I thought.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, he this actor Jeremy Kemp is his name, and he actually passed away this year. Yeah, he had a very long career in which he played a lot of Nazis in his career. And so he's also British. He did a lot of BBC stuff as well, of course. But he did play a lot of Nazis in his career. And, I mean, I guess if you're a Nazi, I mean, you probably have a pretty sour face. So it kind of fits right in, I would think. Yeah, he was another actor who was in everything back in the day. And, yeah, he was a very prolific actor. And, yeah, he actually just passed away this year.
I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Well, I know he was also too, like, even in this episode, I always felt like he was way too old to play Picard's older brother. Like, he looks like he's 90. Like, I mean, he looks really old in this, and it's like,
because he's been working in the fields with his hands and not using technology.
Fuck you, technology! I'm gonna cut these grapes with a knife. Like, yeah, maybe that's it. But he just seems so elderly to have fathered this young child. I don't know.
I know. What is he like? The vineyard Hugh Hefner?
Chateau Bunny.
Chateau Bunny.
Chateau Bunny. Oh my god.
That's pretty funny, Brooke. I like that.
Thank you. I laughed too hard, so I got a little derailed. Yeah, I mean, you know, he basically just blows off Picard and is like, you know, oh, are you tired? You know, trying to get him away. Well, we'll have dinner. We'll let you know. I've got things to do here, kind of thing. It's just like, oh, geez, man.
Yeah.
You ain't seen me in 20 years. You think you'd be a little nicer?
Yeah, this definitely sets up